Fast feet, movement to the ball, and a really fast off-road, okay?
It's crunch time. Credibility is at stake. The Pulse still searching for that elusive first win. The Tactix hanging in this competition by a thread. Can the Kiwi teams prove their worth? Hi there, glad you could join us for round 8 of the ANZ Championship. Now, if history's anything to go by, then we're in for a cracker today, because the last 2 times the Canterbury Tactix and the Central Pulse have squared off, both matches have run into extra time. Now, the Tactix were victorious on both of those occasions, but when you consider the Pulse still haven't got their first win, anything could happen. Now, our commentators for today's match are former Silver Fern Julie Coney and former Magic mid-quarter Kerry Wills. Welcome, ladies.
Hi, Kerry.
First of all, Julie, both the Pulse and Tactix, we talk about them going to extra time a lot, but they're not very good finishers, are they? That's perhaps why.
Well, for me, the Pulse, it's a lack of experience. They're a young side, and when they go to these matches, it's like they don't know how to win it. It's having that confidence and learning how to win. For the Tactix, completely different thing. In the last couple of rounds, they've been pushed, and they've got experienced players in the side. They should know how to win. For me, for them, it's just the fact that they're not going to the post. It's not that they don't know how to win.
And Kerry, I know that that's something that you have a bit of a bugbear with the Tactix as well.
Yes, it is, and I mentioned it last week in the commentary. And I think in this game, both teams have a lot to prove. The Tactix especially, they've got almost a Silver Ferns starting lineup in their attacking end. So I just don't understand why that's the end that is letting them down. I think Anna Thompson, she shot 88% last week. She needs to go to the post more often, as Julie said. She's capable of doing it. It's about pride. The Pulse are looking for their first win, but the Tactix, they should be stamping their mark on this game and taking it to show everybody the classy side that they are.
The thing is, one of these teams is going to break through that drought today, aren't they? So one of these teams is going to, and it would be great to see if it was the Pulse, but. Yeah.
Their first win. I must just say about the Tactix, though, they have had so many close matches. Like you said, Julie, it's a matter of knowing how to win. So what would they have done during the week to try and win a match? We've talked about it a lot, but how do they get over that line?
For the Tactix or for the Pulse?
For the Tactix.
For the Tactix. Well, as I say, I don't think those players don't need to learn how to win. They should know how to win, and that's what we're just reiterating that. The thing for me is that they've just got to have a little more confidence. There's a real fine balance between being cautious with the ball and over-cautious when you're getting in a tight situation, and letting the ball go with confidence and with some cause behind it, rather than, your head full of air.
OK. Well, last week here on One Sport, we brought you the most closest match of the round, the Canterbury Tactix heartbreaking loss to the Southern Steel. But elsewhere, the top of the table is starting to define itself, and the gap is widening. After 3 consecutive wins, the West Coast Fever were confident and ready to tackle the league's toughest team. But there's a reason why the Melbourne Vixens are yet to lose a game.
And now Sherelle McMahon, that's a great start from her, 6 from 6 now.
The Fever were trailing at the first break.
As you can see, the margin now out to 7 goals.
Holding their own in the second quarter, but the third wasn't pretty.
The problem for Fever is they're playing against an opposition in Vixens who just look really well drilled.
The Vixens scoring 23 goals to the Fever's 12. Goal attack Sherelle McMahon shooting more than her fair share with 40 from 47 attempts. The Vixens, the first team to crack the 70-goal mark. The final score, 74-49.
We always knew this was going to be a tough game. We thought the Fever girls were playing some really beautiful netball and on a bit of a high after their win, so we knew we really had to be on it, and maybe the bye worked well for us and we were refreshed.
The Northern Mystics couldn't even manage half the Vixens' goals against the Waikato Bay of Plenty Magic.
Look at the frustration on Te Aroha Keenan's face.
Time and time again, the side unable to capitalise on turnover ball.
Easy pickings, Casey Williams.
The Magic certainly weren't faultless, but still had a substantial 6-goal lead at half-time. Coach Tiago Hakinen forced to make changes in each third of the court.
And it's certainly a new look Mystic side.
But the damage was done. The final score, 50-35.
Happy to have the 2 points and happy that we achieved some of the things we wanted to achieve. Would have liked a more consistent performance, but we're up against the quality side, so yeah, we are happy.
And defending champions, the New South Wales Swifts just can't get themselves out of their form slump. This time doing it tough against the Queensland Firebirds.
It seems to be at one end, it's hard to score, and the Firebirds go down and just make it look really easy.
After an awful start, the Swifts recovered, winning the second quarter 16-11.
Margin back to 2 goals.
But it was the Firebirds who held their nerve in the dying stages. Romelda Aiken's contribution of 51 goals crucial. The Swifts' third consecutive loss, 58-54. Not the ideal way for coach Julie Fitzgerald to celebrate her 200th game in charge.
We're very, very happy with that. We knew this was going to be a tough game, and it's the start of a lot of away games for us. We've got a few on the run now, so we really wanted that win to set us up.
Oh dear, and the Swifts continue to be the worst performing Australian team in 7th position. The Vixens and Magic top the table, both on 12 points. Bearing in mind the Vixens do have a game up their sleeve, but look at the logjam in the middle of the table. Nothing separating the Thunderbirds, Firebirds and Steel. Well, obviously the Magic and Steel, they're still in the running there from the Kiwi lot, but Kiri, do you feel like it's time's running out for the other franchises?
Yes, certainly is. They're at least 3 wins away from a top 4 spot, and I think the danger for us is that if those teams upset the Magic and or the Steel, they could put one of our top New Zealand contenders out of the running, which would be really disappointing for New Zealand, although you want them to go into every game wanting to win. So it's quite a difficult position that they're in, and they are going to struggle to get through. We've got a log jam at the bottom of New Zealand teams, bar the Swifts.
Yeah, and of course, the 2 Kiwi teams that are in contention, you wouldn't say they're going at 100% strength at the moment. Julie, the Magic, take them case in point, they are at 2nd on the table, but they're not performing like we've seen them perform, you know, last year. They seem to be at a higher point than what they are now.
Look, I don't think that. I think their defence, for me, are playing at about 70 to 80%. I think their attack maybe 60 to 70%. Defensively, they've got some marvellous players, you know, 2 New Zealand players stacking up often in their defensive circle, and they're not, to me, getting their intercept ball that they should. Williams, I think, can get a lot more ball defensively, and on attack, at times they're just stuttering through that mid-court, aren't they, if they get good pressure put on them by good defence, and that's what I think we've seen in this competition, is really good defence from all these teams, and that is causing teams problems, and sometimes Maria Tutaia goes off the boil, and there's too much movement in their shooting circle. So for me, they've got a long way to go, the Magic, if they want to be in contention for this title this year. Look, they're at the top of the ladder.
They're there still, aren't they? But what does it mean, I guess, if, I mean, the Silver Ferns aren't far away? What does that mean when you consider that the Magic starting lineup is virtually the Silver Ferns, Kiri? What do you make of it?
Yeah, it is a worry, but, you know, there are still some classy people to come into that group. You know, you've still got Julie Seymour. Hopefully Jodie Brown is available, not sure, but she's one of our best shooters at the moment, and she stood up at goal attack when she was there, and you just don't know who's available. Temepara George, is she going to be available?
Well, it's going to be really interesting. I read in the Herald this morning that they're talking that they're going to make the New Zealand players have to make themselves available, for both Commonwealth Games and the next World Championship. So that's through to 2011. So it could count some players out, like a Seymour, 38 years of age, and so forth.
Absolutely. Well, that'll be interesting to see. Well, round 8, of course, brought up a lot of controversial topics again. And our man on the ground, our straight shooter, Glenn Lama, he was there to see it all.
6 wins from 6 at an average winning margin of 12 goals. Who's going to stop the Melbourne Vixens? You'd think the only way their title run could come to a screaming halt is on June 6 against the Magic in Tauranga. But the scary thing right now, the Vixens are getting better with each game. Can you say that about the Magic? Case in point, Sherelle McMahon. 40 goals against the Fever, simply outstanding. Now, what is going on at the Swifts? Another week, another loss for the defending champs. And now, dissension. Is Catherine Cox out for blood? Not often you see this, a senior player coming out in public and questioning a coach's decision. And yes, I know Cox does end up praising Julie Fitzgerald deeper in the article, but look, usually where there's smoke, there's fire. Bit of debate this week following the Sonia McCloma-Cheryl Scanlon incident in the Steel Tactix match.
Goal defence off the goal line, dispute with the umpire.
Now, standing them aside for just one goal does sound awfully lame, doesn't it? But it had the desired effect. Standing them aside for longer? No. We have to be careful not to discourage top players from really going for it. Strong, competitive play is what we want. Finally, forget the Vaseline and forget the spray.
I'm not saying anything.
Poor old Ra Everett. Sadly, this kind of sums up the Mystics at the moment, doesn't it? A bit blue in the face, you might say.
Welcome back to One Sport's coverage of the ANZ Championship. If you've just joined us today, it's the Tactix, the Canterbury Tactix, down in Christchurch, taking on the Central Pulse. We're about 10 minutes away from the start of play, so let's take a look now at who will start this match. Not surprisingly, 8 rounds in, both lineups are looking pretty settled. Former Silver Fern Jodie Brown begins at goal shoot, with Anna Thompson at goal attack. The experienced mid-court duo of Marie Bowden at wing attack and Julie Seymour at centre remains, while Larissa Wilcox retains the wing defence bib ahead of Philippa Finch. One player you certainly wouldn't have sitting on the bench is young Charlotte Kite. She begins at goal defence with rangy Sonia McCloma at goalkeeper. A lot of firepower off the bench, but Helen Mann-Stroud is sticking with the tried and true. A fairly similar Pulse lineup to what we've seen in recent weeks. Silver Fern Paula Griffin spearheads the shooting end at goal shoot, with Jamila Gupwell at goal attack. Narama Milner-Olsen adds stability to the mid-court at wing attack, pairing up with rising star Camilla Lees at centre, and captain Kushla Lichwak is at wing defence. A much stronger looking defensive circle now that Althea Byfield is back from injury at goalkeep, with Bessie Manu out at goal defence. So the option then of Hannah Broadelow coming off the bench, no doubt Yvette McCausland-Jury will be targeting this match as a potential first win. Yes, the Pulse will be pleased that they've got Byfield back in the mix. Julie, how much does she add to that defensive team, or to the team as a whole, really?
Oh, a great deal. I mean, she's sitting in the top 4 of intercepts in the competition, so she can take that ball in flight, and that is so important with teams, and that's where this Pulse side get a lot of turnover ball through her good defensive work. So I think she'll add a great deal, and combining back there with Manu's, that's their strength, that's their strongest lineup for me. More experience in it, and I just think that she'll add a great deal. I really do, yeah.
Yeah. Kerry, I guess for the Tactix, they have got a very strong bench with the likes of Victoria Smith, Philippa Finch, but she has opted to stick with her tested lineup, even though it's not particularly working well. What do you make of the Wilcox-Finch in particular?
Yeah, well, it's interesting because Wilcox has been taken off a number of times halfway through. Now, we don't know if that's a planned move or not, but when Finch comes on, she adds stability to their attack through court. I think Wilcox, she gives far too many passes away. Her error rate on attack is quite high compared with the gains that she gets on defence. So I think, for my money, would have gone with Finch, but, you know, it may be a planned move. OK, we'll look at a player to watch today, I guess, Bessie Manu. She's up against her old franchise, the Canterbury Tactix, and now that she's got Byfield beside her, Julie, I guess she's got more chance to perhaps pick up the ball that we've seen her get in this competition so far.
Yeah, well, she's not afraid to go for intercept ball, is she? And I think, and that's what you've got to do as a defender, and that's what you want those people outside to do, and that's maybe where Wilcox, in at wing defence, just creates a wee bit more, is a bit tighter. She's that Australian player, so that tighter style outside, which will create a wee bit more lifted ball for Manu and Byfield, who both like the elevation in their game and going for intercept ball. Byfield and up against Brown, yeah, will be an interesting test today because Brown has that lovely hold, and I think we'll see Byfield using all her skills. She's got great elevation, so she can work well against a hold, I think.
We actually have got a couple of interesting matchups there. Another one, Litchfield-Bowden. They're quite a feisty pairing there, Kerry. They both like to give a bit of a push and shove at times.
Yeah, I think that Bowden can be a little bit precious at times, so Litchfield is a good call to put against her because she's so tough and hard, and I feel like she's more effective at wing defence. She gets a lot more ball, and so she'll be out there to rough Marie Bowden up, and it'll be interesting to see how Bowden handles that.
OK, two very even teams, but remember the Tactix are the team with the Silver Ferns, so they should, on paper, win this match today. Stay with us. We're into the action right after this.
Good afternoon. Welcome to the Westpac Arena in Christchurch with One Sport. As we move into the second half of the ANZ Championship, round 8 of 14, Tactix versus the Pulse. And Tactix in preparation after a disappointing loss last weekend by just 1 goal to the Steel. The Pulse coming off a bye, preparing for this big match this afternoon. Kerry, the Tactix, or the Pulse rather, have been the Tactix nemesis in other games.
Yes, when they've met, taking them to extra time a couple of times over the course of the Trans-Tasman series. So it's a game both of these teams will be wanting to take, Julie.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's now time to call onto the court the two teams taking part in today. Taking the court for the Central Pulse at goal shoot today, Paula Griffin. At goal attack, Jamila Gubwell. Wing attack, Narama Milner-Olsen. At centre today, Camilla Lees. At wing defence and captain today, Kushla Ladvak. At goal defence, Elizabeth Manu. And at goal keep, Althea Byfield. On the interchange bench today for the Central Pulse, Tiamo Amaru Tibble. We've got Hannah Broadalow.
Their strongest lineup, I think, Kerry, for this Pulse side.
Yes, good to see Althea Byfield back, and she'll have a huge battle in there with one of our smartest shooters in the country, Jodie Brown, coming onto the court now.
Wing attack, Marie Bowden. At centre, captain Julie Seymour. Wing defence, Larissa Wilcox.
Seymour, veteran of the competition.
Goal keep,
38 years of age.
This is still the fittest side, isn't it? An experienced side, and we hope to see them stamp their mark on the game. They have had some disappointing losses, so today's the day they can show their class.
Well, I have gone for them 13 plus in my picks today, Kerry. I thought I'd let you in on that before we start the match. What about you?
Yes, actually, so did I. But do you know that I hope the Pulse come through and take them. But on paper, that would be the...
So our umpires, Bronwyn Meek on the right, and David Palalamo, and the young ball carrier who will bring the ball out to Julie Seymour, the Tactix centre, who have the first centre pass off in the match this afternoon. The best place to be on a cold Saturday afternoon at an indoor winter sport.
Yes, and not the start that the Tactix would have wanted. First centre pass gone begging.
Byfield back after concussion, so hasn't been on the court for 3 weeks. It'll be interesting to see how quickly she warms into the game.
Yes, this non-contact sport of ours has been tested this season with a couple of concussions, a few black eyes, split lips, and first up goal to the Pulse, so they break the Tactix centre pass.
So a good start for the Pulse. But not so off, yes, not so off the end of that pass. Two defence back on the goal shoot. Risky pass to take.
That was a lovely clearing pass from Sonia McCloma to set up this attack for the Tactix.
And that's what Brown has been doing a lot this season, taking that ball, turning to the post and putting the shot up. Not so perhaps her teammate Anna Thompson.
No, the difference in workload is quite significant in this circle, and as we know, those offloads can be dangerous in the closing minutes of the game.
Well, Jodie Brown has put up, she averages 33 shots in a match, only 11 from Anna Thompson. Now that to me tells something to the defenders up against that shooting circle. One dominant shooter, similar to the Pulse at this end, one dominant shooter in Griffin.
Yes, Jamila Gupwell, though, for me, has stepped up this season, and she's been running some good lines in that circle to free up Paula Griffin.
Seymour offloads to Bowden. Nice hitting of the top of the circle by Seymour.
And a held ball called on Anna Thompson for her first shot, so that won't give her a lot of confidence.
No, it was pretty quick held ball to me. Pretty unlucky, I think.
Cromwell Meek wants a fast game, obviously.
Contact centre.
So this game already shaping up to be a tight one by the looks of it.
Well, very early days, isn't it? Gupwell does that nicely, rolls the top of the circle, prepared to take the long shot over the arms of McCloma, and will get the penalty. So both defenders out. Bowden very quick off the line.
And great turn to look down. Something not
Tweaked
quite
something,
right here.
yes.
This would be a big blow for them. I don't think we've seen anyone else play wing attack for the Tactix in the last 2 seasons.
No, it would be an interesting move. I would hesitate to think, would Finch go on at wing attack?
Well, yes, and she's nice and explosive, so she's
That's
more
an
of a defensive
Yes, she
wing
is.
quarter, but it is definitely their option there.
Same with Seymour. Seymour's more of a defensive mid-quarter as well, so they'll hope not to lose Bowden. It doesn't look too serious. But as you were touching on before, Curry, there's been a lot of sort of injury and knocking about in the game. It's certainly become a lot more physical, and to be honest, I don't mind it as long as you don't lose the skill factor from the game.
Yes, and I think there are some defenders who have got some really high stats in terms of penalties, and talking to Yvonne Willering, one of our great defenders and coaches, she was talking about how some of them are playing some of the defenders, not many, are playing quite a negative game, and as long as you're going for the ball like a Casey Williams, who's positive in that every time she goes for the ball, she's trying to get an intercept, as opposed to someone who's blocking or...
Yes, sometimes it's almost like a lack of skill and they dig the elbow in or put the leg out.
Yes.
Great tip. Yes, that's where Byfield's dangerous, when that ball's in the air. She's got lovely elevation. Gets
Made
a lot
sure
of
that, didn't she?
A lot of tip ball.
And great positioning for the rebound to get that for her team.
Defence bringing the ball well through court for the Pulse, and they off-foot McCloma. So a good finish to a nice phase of play.
Yeah, and nothing fancy about that from the Pulse. It was good, solid, structured netball, straights and squares down the court.
And again, Gutball using her nice little tuck around the top of the circle to effect. But McCloma's strong on the rebound, one of the strongest rebounders in the competition. So you don't want to miss many with her under the post. Seymour creates great space for herself. And that's sometimes where it comes undone for the Tactix, when they opt to make that extra pass. Brown was in shooting position, but chose to offload to the edge of the circle. And that's where it can be turned over.
Both shooters getting stuck at the top of the circle, but Anna Thompson finishes with a lovely shot. She shot quite well last week. She shot 88%, so should be encouraged, really, to look at the post more often.
Yes, well, she would have been heartbroken last week when they went down by 1 to the steal in that cliffhanger of a match. Led all the way, the Tactix, last week against the steal, and then it was just in the dying moments of the game that they lost it.
Other side goalkeeper.
Gutful with the penalty, makes sure of it.
Macloma trying to squeeze in a little gap there to get closer to the rebound if it was going to come off.
Bowden being the dominant player off the line, isn't she, off the Tactix centre pass.
Yeah, she's quite high up on the list for the overall competition for getting the ball off the line.
And again, Thompson relaxed on the shot and from distance.
Good to see. Some good ball movement here from the Pulse. And a great hold from Paula Griffin. Not happy with the lean from Macloma. She was within her shooting range, but I think Macloma's long arms just put her off then.
I certainly wouldn't like to shoot over those arms. No, she's a fine defender, Macloma. I think has been a real asset to this Tactix side.
Offside, free pass.
Yes, well, after they lost to Miles McLeod, who's gone back to Australia, they did need another big, tall defender, and she's fit that bill quite nicely.
Yes, much to the detriment of the Pulse side, where she played last year. In fact, 2 players. Waititi is also on the bench for the Tactix.
Hasn't seen any court time this year.
No, was with the Pulse.
Paula Griffin just losing Sonia Macloma on that baseline dodge. That's twice in a row she's done that. Macloma won't be happy about that.
No, it's effective, isn't it? The little dodge movement. You move one way, back the next, lose the defender. Byfield, brilliant. That's where she's so good. She's so quick off the mark, Byfield.
So athletic and can recover if the pass doesn't go the way she's gone. She's quick enough to get back in and onto that shooter.
Litchwood, instrumental in bringing that ball through court.
Yeah, just going to say, awesome defence as a team from the Tactix. Here she goes.
The great skill of Byfield. Just got enough to get a fingertip to it to disrupt the flow of the ball.
Anna Thompson, so that she dropped the ball.
Obstruction goalkeeper. Pass or shot.
That is where Jodie Brown is very hard to get around. Great hold at the top of the circle.
Don't argue.
Bessie Manu just being told off by Bronwyn Meek, nice and early.
Yes, well, last week a couple of players stood down, told to take...
Just told not to argue.
Off.
That's enough, thank you very much.
Well, felt the ball could have been released a bit sooner then from the Tactix. Look up, court, let the ball go. There was a nice straight line play for them.
And an attacking contact from Jodie Brown as she's trying to hold her position.
But again, the Pulse just frivolous with that valuable turnover ball that they get.
Yeah, and it is their inexperience, isn't it, Julie? Because at times they show that they are patient, they work the ball through, and then other times they do things like that and they're not able to keep hold of that ball. Great pass from Anna Thompson, good vision down to Jodie Brown.
And a sitter from right under goes astray, but manages to haul in the rebound. And
she'll be glad she got that rebound.
So the Tactix 3 up. Just over halfway through the first quarter here at the Westpac Arena in Christchurch.
Goalkeeper, obstruction.
The Tactix from Christchurch, the Pulse from Wellington.
2-on-1 situation in the circle with Macloma being stood down. Yes, Griffin really apprehensive about shooting over Macloma.
And Macloma did a great job screening out for that rebound. Just let the ball drop. She used her body to shield the attacker away from the ball. Oh, nobody home defensively. Some lovely play from the Tactix, and that's what I felt they could have done the earlier phase. Look up, let the ball go.
Yes, out there Byfield, out hunting.
And that's what the Pulse defenders not afraid to do, both Byfield and Manu.
Another great rebound from Byfield.
for wing attack.
Bowden all too close on Manu. Manu to Milner Olsen. Lees.
Larissa Wilcox doing a very good job on Milner Olsen. She can't seem to get the ball. Hasn't been involved in this attacking play for a while.
On there, yes.
And that's what you want your wing defences to do.
And Milner Olsen has had a good start to the competition. She's always strong off the centre pass.
Yes, she dominates that centre pass for the Pulse.
And she is with the ball now and repositioning herself nicely, but Gutwell ups to swing the ball around the circle.
Contact, wing defence, sorry.
Left hand. Too left.
You're holding goal defender. Goal defence, come beside.
So even though advantage wasn't played, they get the ball within the circle eventually.
Oh, beautiful inset from Althea Byfield. Just getting her feet around quickly around Jodie Brown.
Stunning timing from Byfield.
Nearly wasted down this end though. Paula Griffin needing to be a little bit more, look after that ball a bit better. And here we go, the Tactix have got it.
Yes, that's that precious turnover ball. I don't know how many times I've found myself saying that when commentating against the Pulse. Great position on the baseline. Likes it from there, Jodie Brown. Here's some stunning defensive work here. Look at this from Charlotte Kite. Now, to me, that young lady has been one of the emerging players of this competition so far. 20-year-old New Zealand under-21 player. On the court this season, up against some tremendous players and just so unintimidated, and has just had a fine start to the competition.
And she contributes on both attack and defence, as we see there, helping her team get the ball through the court.
I would not be surprised to see her get a New Zealand call-up.
Well, she deserves it. You know, we've seen many of these young players with lots of promise get into these franchise teams and not take their opportunities. Now, she has not been fazed by some of the really classy opposition that she's come up against. So, all power to her, I say.
Pulse shooting tactics, shooting statistics, just letting them down a little bit.
Jodie Brown leaping over the barriers to try and get back on the court, but a little bit too late.
And again, Byfield very strong on the rebound. Tactix still comfortable with a 4-goal lead. First quarter of the match just about over. Low scoring quarter for the Pulse. They'd like to be in double figures early on.
With Althea Byfield and her tips and her rebounds down the other end, she is creating opportunities for them. They have to tidy up on their attack.
Lees with the centre pass off. And it was Milner Olsen that came across strong that time. Griffin out the middle. No shooters in the circle. Needs to be played around. But a Gutwell, again, she plays under the players at the top of the circle there, doesn't she? Very hard to get around as a defender.
Yes, and that's about the third time in the row that Paula Griffin's gone for the ball with one hand and nearly lost it. She needs to be really aware of that because these two defenders will come through and take that ball off them.
Yes, they're rangy defenders. Kite and McCloma.
Causing wing defence, centre third.
Yeah, Bowden does well off the line.
Yep, two defenders on her and she still manages to lose them and get on.
Thompson, the little in-out pass that time to get herself a little closer. And she's been accurate.
Thompson looking a lot more comfortable this game than I've seen her in the past.
First quarter, let's see her under pressure.
Yes.
Lichwa dominant at that transverse line to help the ball through. Griffin off the penalty. And again, the defence from the Pulse
doing
work
well,
hard.
aren't they?
Yeah, they've got some good turnover ball and a lovely delivery that time into Griffin.
Goal defence beside.
Yes, from Camilla Lees. Now, she's probably an unsung hero for this Pulse side. She's been doing a lot of work getting that ball through. Can they score in the last few seconds?
No, they could not. So the Pulse coming back in the closing stages of that first quarter. The Canterbury Tactix had a good lead, but they'll go to the break with the Tactix up 13-12.
Thanks to your support of Fisher & Paykel for the last 75 years, we have been able to pass that support on to netball.
Welcome back to the Westpac Arena in Christchurch. A good crowd in for this Saturday afternoon match. Round 8 in the ANZ Championship. Let's see if we can hear what Helen Malmstroud has to say, although it sounds like Julie Seymour, the captain's doing a lot of the talking.
Wide, just for a few. Okay. She's better get it, but she's wide, and then we're on everything else.
On the stack, and it only happened once. Instead of running right down into that space, you came back up towards it, okay? And I think the stacks are working okay.
So you want us to go down and come back up?
No, I want you to keep driving through because you'll take the middies with you, all right?
Well, it's always nice to eavesdrop. Kiri, anything in the stats that interest you?
No, it's pretty close at the moment with the shooting attempts being 17-15. Looking at the penalties, though, Canterbury Tactix way ahead with 26-12. So would have thought McCloma might have tidied up last week, but she's still going for it.
And shooting stats pretty similar in the overall, aren't they? A bit disappointing, Jodie Brown. Well, however, it's 8 from 11. It's early days. Those stats certainly change as the match progresses. So we can't read too much into that at this stage.
Yes, the only issue with those missed shots is that Althea Byfield is getting 90% of the rebounds, so they'll be wanting to tidy that up with the Tactix.
And at the other end, McCloma doing the same.
And it looks like Tiamo Amadou-Tibbles is on at goal shoot. And possibly Paula Griffin taking the bench, but I'll confirm with you shortly. Paula Griffin, sorry, into goal attack. And Jamila Gupwell wing attack. That's an interesting change from Yvette McLaughlin-Drury.
What do you think she would be trying to achieve there, Kiri?
I felt, I saw, more than I felt, that Milna Olsen was getting quite involved with Larissa Wilcox and maybe just taking her off, giving her a breather and then putting her back on so that she continues to play her game because she has been effective for this Pulse side.
So, going with the centre pass at the moment in the second quarter of the match. Great intercept from Seymour. Very difficult to do as that ball is going through court when you have to run back and take an intercept off it.
Yes, I think we said at the start of the game that Julie Seymour is a defensive centre, so she does pick up a bit of ball.
She's a marvellous role model in the sport, Julie Seymour. 38 years of age, mother of 3, I think, isn't it?
I think so. We might have to confirm
just
that.
one of the fittest players on the court. Hands up and over from the Tactix. Force the ball back for the Pulse, but they're prepared to look after it this time. Tight defence inside, but McCloma gives away another penalty. As we saw in those stats, the defence for the Tactix have had a high penalty count.
Paula Griffin screening Sonia McCloma out so that Tiamo Amadou-Tibbles is clear for the shot.
Amadou-Tibble, though, I think, again, another youngster that's not afraid to step up to under the pressure. She's got a really good hold on her. Very, very strong hold. Very strong positional player.
Yes, and she's she went to school with Yvette McClawson-Drury was her teacher, so she knows this player very well, so she knows what she can produce.
Just sometimes I feel just a lack of direction on the pass and can tend to throw the ball away at times unnecessarily.
Some of those look-away passes.
Yes.
That bounce towards the defender.
Griffin, I don't know, she seems more comfortable, Curry, at goal attack to me.
Yeah, a little bit more space to move and get herself set up.
Contact on the ball, wing defences out in the circle.
So the penalty has to be taken within the circle.
Tactix contact.
Thompson prepared to put the shot up. Manu with a good jump on it. But Thompson, she's been accurate.
Good to see her going to the post.
Still not having a lot of joy off that centre pass. That time the Pulse having to go back. Gutpool probably not used to
coming off the line.
Coming off that wing attack.
Yeah, well, they'll lose Milner Olsen's speed, and she has been getting most of those centre passes.
Lovely little baseline drive there from Brown.
Yeah, at the other end, goal shoot was pulled for contact. So Bronwyn Meek pulled Jodie Brown in the first quarter, so being consistent.
Yes, it's not always the defence, Curry, I'd have to say that.
From a defender to an attacker.
Yes, yes, exactly.
Contact centre.
Good little rotation in there from Anna Thompson and Jodie Brown.
Yes, the rotation is one player will move to the base, the other to the top, so the circle's always balanced.
Thompson and Brown have very good timing on that. They're very, very good at it.
So the Tactix just eking out a little bit of a lead here.
Step aside here.
Steps in front of the defence to keep them away from the rebound, which is good thinking against McCloma, who is very strong at that.
Both teams having to go back off their centre passes. Frontline defenders doing a great job.
Dangerous pass to make. The pass was the one in front, rather than trying to eke it through to the baseline with two defence in front of you.
Particularly someone as athletic as Althea Byfield.
Beautiful shot from Brown from distance.
Wing defence, go third. Yep, set them. Side the wing defence, yes.
Lees. Oh, nice work. Tibble and Amaru Tibble and Griffin. Good understanding.
Good vision, good understanding, and great release of the pass. So while they've lost a bit of speed in that attacking end, the Pulse, this attack seems a little bit more settled. Fewer errors at this stage in the quarter.
She's just
some
turned
great
20.
defence from the Pulse, and they get a held ball.
So a chance to pull one back here. Pulse with 7 turnovers, so just an area that they'd want to tidy up, and they've been off valuable turnovers that they have created.
And there we see again, Julie, there's another turnover to add to their tally, unfortunately.
Advantage offside.
Seymour in good position now for the feed. And Thompson will get the penalty. Puts the shot up. Good to see. Again, the ball going back for the Pulse off that centre pass off. Good vision from Litchwark into Griffin.
Yep, Griffin snuck that baseline quite quickly on Charlotte Kite, and Kite and McCloma didn't have time to switch.
So, Pulse pulling back again. They just hang in there, don't they, the Pulse?
And it would be great to see them come through with a win and to nail it. So just got to look after those turnovers that they create.
Gutpool doing all right at wing attack, but I must say, looking a wee bit lost at times.
You've got stuck in that pocket. Luckily, Paula Griffin's long arms saving that pass.
Kite. Bowden. Good work, Thompson, out for the feed, but just a bit too far that time for Brown. Didn't quite have the height on the shot.
Marie Bowden nearly getting a hand to that.
This time, Griffin in. Tiamaru Tibble out. And they've changed, so they're rotating nicely, the shooters.
Yes, and I think Jamila Gutwell's more available than Milner Olsen was with Wilcox. She's playing a goal attacks game against a tight defending wing defence where she uses her body to hold and roll off and screen rather than just dodging behind. So,
and Milner Olsen is a short player. You know, she is tiny in stature.
Unlucky for Marie Bowden there. She got up and over the ball. Good defence from McCloma, getting a good 3-foot mark over Paula Griffin, so she couldn't see in for the pass. It's that one-handed Australian pass from Marissa Wilcox.
Yes, Wilcox causing problems, isn't she, as a defence as well. Just that Australian style of play that we talked about before the match, just over every ball. Thompson does well and just moves herself closer with that little interplay.
She's having a good game, Anna Thompson. Jodie Brown not as dominant, so Anna Thompson stepping up. Good to see.
Good defence from the Tactix. Just about got the hell there off the pulse.
Let the ball go. Step aside the goal defence, please.
A little bit of confusion about
where it was. Yes, it was against Kite in the circle. 20-year-old Charlotte Kite. Heavily strapped right shoulder.
Yes. She's had that since the start of the season, so maybe an old injury.
The Tactix still a lot more penalties to that of the pulse, and it just wears you down.
Well done, Bessie Manu, coming through for that ball. I was just about to say great ball speed and understanding between Bowden and Brown, and she comes through with a lovely intercept.
And now you'd like to see it finished off at this end for her, wouldn't you? How frustrating it would be if it wasn't.
Intimidation, that's a call you don't hear very often. That's when the defenders wave their arms in front of the eyes of the shooter. The rules are that you stretch and lean over the ball, not the face. So McCloma being pulled up for that.
And Manu was rewarded. But again,
Paula Griffin just a bit loose with the taking of the ball. She's not securing it before she thinks about what's happening next.
Yes, the key to it is take the ball first and then think your options.
So rather than being one goal behind, then they're now 3 goals behind.
Excellent elevation, beautiful skills from Byfield. One hand, pulls it in.
Fantastic standing jump. She just jumped straight up and down.
Incredible. If she was being coached by Lois Muir, though, Lois would have said if you can take it with 1, you take it with 2. Just to be secure and safe with it. So just the 2 goals, the Pulse hanging in there. Look at the work from Byfield. Pretty to watch in the air. Came with the away arm as well. Didn't involve the umpire.
And because her standing jump is so great, she just doesn't need to contact. And a lovely shot from Amadou Tibbles.
So back to just the 1 goal. A turnover here for the Pulse would be wanted. They would quite like that, I would imagine.
If you're a Pulse fan, you might have thought that that was a bit of a short pass between Jodie Brown and Julie Seymour.
But Thompson makes sure on the shot. So it's back out to 2. But the Pulse with the centre pass. Nice triangle play, but no shooters available for the ball. And a missed shot will give the Tactix the opportunity.
Not a lot of urgency from the Pulse shooters onto that rebound either. Probably would like to see them get in there and have a go.
Contact on the ball, goal attack.
Well done, Bessie Manu.
Yes.
And Camilla Lees, I think, was with the initial tip on the outside of the circle.
So Manu doing a lot of work chasing the ball down. I think enjoying being back in combination with Byfield.
And that was an interesting choice of pass then to the player with two players on them. Again, the Pulse guilty of letting go that precious possession.
Oh, and Manu just about had it again.
Great to see her going out for those. That's where they'll get some balls, so hope to see her gather a few up.
Well, that's what you've got to do. Get that ball on defence. Shooting percentages. Jodie Brown, 74%.
And Anna Thompson, 86. So
it's reverse roles, really.
Yes, and there she goes, putting another one away.
And we were just saying at the beginning of the match that we have two shooters at either end that are dominant shooters, but we're not seeing that in this match. Thompson's really stepped up and taking some of the workload off Jodie Brown.
Yes, it is good to see because it has been a problem in the last 3 rounds for the Tactix.
Little tussle at the top of the circle. Julie Seymour and Althea Byfield.
Leaving Bessie Manu on her own with Anna Thompson and Jodie Brown. Anna Thompson, she's on fire. She's going to the post today. So far.
So 5 goals, the difference. The Pulse were hanging in there, but they've let it slip in the last 3 minutes.
Tactix just managing to pull away quickly.
So can the Pulse pull it back 1? Bring it within 4. Yes, they can.
Great shot from Paula Griffin.
Still a chance to get one more back here, but it will have to be quick. It'll have to go direct to the circle.
And McCloma's being pulled inside the circle, so a chance here. It's a long shot.
She must put the shot up. And doesn't quite drop for her. So could have brought the second quarter to within 3, but it's stayed at the 4 goals. The Canterbury Tactix leading the Central Pulse at the half-time break by 4 goals. We'll be back with the second half of the match very shortly.
In the sand, I've come down, no place to land. I don't know.
For 15 years, Fisher & Paykel has nurtured both netball as well as our precious New Zealand environment with our national recycling program.
Welcome back. It's half-time and the Canterbury Tactix are leading the Central Pulse 28-24, so 4 goals. That won't be enough of a buffer for them. Remember, the Central Pulse actually were within 1 or 2 goals early on in that second quarter. Then they just lost it a little bit towards the end. I can tell you the Pulse have made another lot of changes. They made changes initially to the attacking end. They have now brought Hannah Broadlow on to goal defence and Bessie Manu has gone to the bench. So an interesting move there, Julie. Kerry, I thought Bessie Manu was playing all right.
Well, from a defensive perspective, I thought she was doing quite well too. But you would have to say that Anna Thompson has really been in this game. We've said at the beginning that she really only puts up around 11 shots in a match, and already she's put up 14. Seymour with the restart here in the third quarter of this 8th round clash. Yes, lovely delivery from Bowden. Hard, low and fast finds Thompson scooting along the baseline.
Yes, so we'll see if Hannah Broadlow makes an impact in this game. I do remember her having the ball with about 10 seconds to go when they were in extra time last time and she threw it straight out the back. So you'll be hoping that she's learned from that era. But
well,
yes, big
that's
call.
The inexperience of youth, isn't it?
obstruction. Goalkeeper.
So, speaking of youth, Te Amo Amaru-Tibble's started the game well, Julie.
I think she has, yes. Just turned 20.
Just added a rebound to her stats.
And so a young player, but very calm, I think. You know, like she won't get pushed around.
Yes, that was a lovely hold. She had pinned McCloma to the baseline.
And a good rebound again. Wasn't really contested for it. Byfield did well.
And they're going to have to screen her out if they're going to have any chance of getting that, because she is so athletic in the air.
Back to the transverse line it goes for the Pulse so that the circle can reset. Seymour this time pulled out. Needs to be a wee bit more movement in the circle. It's just a wee bit static when the feeders are outside ready to deliver.
And that's what you lose when you take Jamila Gupwell out of that shooting circle. Paula Griffin is a good goal attack, but she's not as quick and dynamic. Oh, fantastic intercept.
And those hands just about went into the centre third. Not allowed in that part of the court, of
She
course.
did well, didn't she?
Put the brakes on.
Coming back from concussion, I think the 3-week breaks added to her game.
Yes, concussed against the Mystics in overtime. When the Pulse took the Mystics to overtime in round 5, I think it was.
Here we go. Fantastic vision to come out for that.
And great timing. And you have to be so quick and agile to get around that player and take the ball.
And it's gutsy trying to take an inset from that far up the court, because if you miss it, your goal shoot's standing literally under the post without you. So
and you look like an idiot. Exactly. No, you've got to back yourself, and she certainly does that, Althea Byfield.
Oh, the Pulse lucky to get away with that. Oh, Paula Griffin straight to the defender on the outside of the circle.
Pulse setting a screen defence out the front of the shooting circle for the Tactix, and it's paid off.
Very effective. Yes, and slowing down Marie Bowden through court. Marie Bowden trying to come up with an inset to get it back.
Well, that's what you like to see a team doing, don't you? They fight back after they've turned the ball over.
Shooter contact. Goal shoot contact.
Amaru-Tibble called for pushing off.
And Pulse get it back. Just a little bit of a messy phase of play. Both teams guilty of turnovers.
Helen Manstroud, the coach of the Tactix side. Plenty of instruction from the bench from her.
McCloma basically getting hammered by Te Amo Amaru-Tibble on the baseline there, calling Charlotte Kite back to help her out. She's going to have to do some movement to get around that.
I really rate Te Amaru-Tibble in that area of her play.
Yes.
You know, that's the strength of her body. The hold that she
doesn't give it up, does she?
No.
She holds that pocket very well.
Nice little tuck round the top that time from Brown, but misses on the shot. She was sitting at 74%, Brown, at the halftime break.
That's pretty low for Jodie.
It is. She came into this match at 86%. In fact, one of the top 4 shooters in the competition.
Good to see Anna Thompson stepping up in lieu of that, though. So, but they'll be wanting to nail that.
Forward, yes.
And the Pulse come within 1, Julie.
Yes.
And their centre pass. They might be able to tie this up.
They are fighters, this Pulse side. There is no doubt about that. The big thing is that if they do get in front, whether they can hold it as well.
Well, you know, having trouble even getting in front. They had that centre pass and they just threw it away. But Althea Byfield saves them again. I think for every goal they score, she must pull 2 back.
Yes, that's why they would have been thankful to have had her back, but again, they cough it up.
They'll be hoping she gets another one.
Yes, come on, Anthea. Althea, sorry. Nice lean from Broadalow, got in the head of Thompson, so maybe this change has been effective.
Yes, she is a lot taller than Bessie Manu, so bigger, longer lean.
So another chance for the Pulse. Now, this is the balance between not being overcautious, still letting the ball flow.
And great movement in that circle.
But taking care of it. Lovely work.
So they even it up.
29 all. The first time that the Pulse have drawn level with the Tactix. They've hung in there. They've drifted out to 6 or 7 goals away, and they've drawn it back.
Jodie Brown landing heavily with, I think, a little bit of help from Hannah Broadalow from behind.
And is that the knee that Jodie Brown had surgery on? I'm not sure whether it was her left or right. Clearly a knock to it. So Anna Thompson pairing up with Jodie Brown, really taking the step up this afternoon, Curry.
Yes, good to see. I think the shot chart for Jodie, she's most accurate closer into the circle and getting the ball under there quite, not easily you would say, with Althea Byfield doing some great things on defence.
Yeah, she's working the baseline quite nicely, I think, and we'll just see if we can catch what happens. And just a knock you can see from that knee from behind. Just trying to get away, out of the way of Broadalow.
And Broadalow not too heavy on her, but it was just the angle, I think. Fairly quiet looking Tactix huddle, and likewise the Pulse, all the players taking a breather.
Yes, of course, the coach can't have any involvement in a injury break. She can't coach from the sideline, so it's up to, this is where your captains come in, helping direct. Changes can be made at this stage as long as it, from the Tactix side, involves the injured player.
Looks like she's staying on though, so back to business. And she'll have a penalty shot, Jodie Brown, with Hannah Broadalow standing down.
And look at that, Byfield. Some very good stats for her in the match so far. 29 all. The Tactix pull it ahead by 1 again, but it'll be the Pulse centre pass off.
That deep pocket, the Tactix are actually setting up that deep pocket in the corner, so Pulse will need to be a little bit careful of sending that ball there. Beautiful shot from the youngster.
But that's why they did so well in feeding it back to the transverse line rather than trying to push it into the corners. Bowden Seymour keeping the feeders off the edge of the circle nicely, the defence for the Pulse, but they work it in, the Tactix, and finished by Thompson again.
Good draw from Jamila Gupwell to leave Paula Griffin free on the centre pass. They just have trouble on this next phase of play.
Yes, I feel Griffin just hangs out a little bit too long at goal attack and really gets in the way of her wing attack and centre as they're bringing the ball through. Would you?
Yes, I agree, and she isn't the fastest at getting back in the circle. She's, you know, she's a great shooter because of her height, but speed-wise, she gives a lot away.
Well, a gift to McCloma there again from the Pulse when they had that chance to stay in touch with the Tactix.
Contact centre.
A misdirected pass on the feed, and McCloma was all over it. And Thompson, will she make it work for her at this end? No, but Brown will, I'm sure. Oh, commentator's curse this time.
Good to see her get up for the rebound, though. They've been a little bit lacking in urgency on those.
So the third quarter of this match, halfway through it. If you weren't with us in the first 2 quarters, the Tactix won the first quarter 13-12. They won the second 15-12. And the Pulse came back in this third quarter to draw even. They're just stretching it out now again, the Tactix.
Fantastic take from Paula Griffin. Did well to keep it in.
Little jostle going on between Griffin and McCloma.
Interestingly, Te Amo Amarau-Tibbles, she just doesn't have a problem with that jiggling around from Sonia McCloma. She just stands up straight and holds her space. Great to see.
She's quite cheeky for a 20-year-old, isn't she, really?
And I know there's been some criticism from the Aussie teams about us losing a team and possibly the Pulse because they are the bottom team. But look, these young players are doing really well. The Pulse haven't had huge losing margins. They've been within touch with some of these classier sides.
But I would really like to see them mixed in with some experience around them and let them learn how to win, Kerry.
Yes. And that is the problem.
The balance of the team,
not the number of the teams.
It's the balance. Amarau-Tibble out, but you see, this is where Griffin was being involved too much up court.
Yes.
Took too much time to get back in.
Got the rebound.
And does well over the arms of McCloma. Amarau-Tibble, those hands were all over her face.
She can be pleased with her performance today. She's doing a great job, having had to come off the bench.
Yes, just turned 20 on the 11th of May. So some young players in this Pulse side, some young talent. And some young talent up against them in that circle too, and Charlotte Kite, who for me has been a standout of the youth so far in the competition.
Instruction, goalkeeper.
So again, the Pulse, it's just surging, isn't it? Every time the Tactix get a run of 4 or 5 goals, the Pulse just pull back.
Just like to see what they can do if they can hit the lead.
You'd love to see it come up trumps for them just this once, wouldn't you? Well, dangerous. There was a player right in front but opted for that long pass. Got away with it, the Pulse.
Yes, I felt Paula Griffin could have done more with that. Charlotte Kite went right out to Camilla Lees on the baseline, and she just sort of floated back, and she could have been available right away.
And perhaps lucky to get that throw in there as well. Kite, a little screwed up face, not happy with the call from Palamo.
I'm not sure why she was confused. It was pretty obvious contact to everyone else, but that's their job. That's what they do.
So Griffin on 79%.
Now, can they tie it up? They've been in this position before, and they haven't quite been able to get even, and then we want to see them go up.
Nice little screen set. So the young head in there, Amarau-Tibble, thinking all the time, and finished beautifully. So they draw even once again, the Pulse.
So they just need another little break. Althea Byfield out hunting.
So the change seems to have worked, Kerry, this defensive change for the Pulse.
Yes, well, Anna Thompson not as comfortable on the shot with Hannah Broadlow defending it.
And offload, so just showing that she doesn't have that confidence there. Brown and Thompson languishing in the 70s on their shots at the moment. Not somewhere we've seen them sitting.
No, and probably not something the Silver Fern selectors want to see.
Yes, Ruth Aiken is in the crowd. We saw her a little bit earlier on, so she's just come back from Scandinavia. Lovely bit of footwork again.
Beautiful rotation once again. Good split of the circle. Paula Griffin drawing high, and Camilla Lees seeing Te Amo Amarau-Tibbles on the baseline.
Yes, Aiken. Oh, and again, it's Byfield. to the rescue. Now let's see this time if they can
hit the lead.
Put the team in front.
Contact!
Althea Byfield reading that play beautifully. Coming out, taking it for her team.
She's well up court, and they look so easy, don't they? But I can tell you they are not easy to take. You've got to have excellent timing. So in the closing stages of this quarter, can the Pulse take the lead for the first time in this match?
They've got 45 seconds to get this ball into a good shooting position.
Yes, they don't want to hurry too much.
The Tactix defence, though, doing a very good job of keeping them off and out. They're having to go backwards a lot.
Oh, dear.
Oh, no.
And still plenty of time for the Tactix to score. 21 seconds. They're going to play it around this time so that they are in control. And the experienced heads should know what to do. Brown, though, stepped in. Lucky to get away with that.
Yes, Althea Byfield's distance was good. I think just bringing the hand down, Julie.
Yes, because Jodie Brown does that, but, well, they had their chance, didn't they, the Pulse? They could have gone into this break in lead of the Tactix, but
our customer care centre and dedicated technical staff, Fisher & Paykel supports you like it has supported netball for 15 years.
we are back in Christchurch for one great afternoon's entertainment. 37-36, the Tactix lead the Pulse by just one goal. A good game to warm you up on a cold afternoon.
To leave and go and attack some ball nice and early. So it's going to be you're on the leave. As soon as Hannah leaves, you've got to come front. Yeah? Look to force that one over the top of your head. On the jump, Han, when we're kind of going, just jump it. Yeah, Rhino, just check the shooting hand side. Just put some pressure on.
Just so that if we need to use those game smarts, it's on there. But the same thing, bringing it out and changing the angle to move it. You guys, remember to have the confidence to move the ball. It's what we do well. We play that fast game well. Okay, so don't lose the confidence. Just keep the ball moving all the time. Okay.
And the stats sheet there just showing the Central Pulse goal shooting percentage there, better than that of the Tactix. They won that third quarter by 3 goals, 12-9 the Pulse. And really the penalty thing is the only other thing, Kerry, that you'd point out.
Yeah, McCloma and Kite putting a lot of pressure on. We see a little change here with McCloma coming out to goal defence. And Victoria Smith, who's sat a lot of the season on the bench due to Kite's great form.
Yes, well, I think what they're probably looking for here is getting a ball a little bit earlier, trying to get some ball further up court.
Yep, letting Sonia McCloma loose, basically, through the court.
Nice little pop coming forward for the ball, Amaru Tibble, and she'll get another shot at it. McCloma collecting her on the way down.
So good pressure. Both teams applying really good pressure to the second phase of the centre pass. Bit of a struggle to get it into the circle.
And we heard Marn Stroud saying to her charges, just have confidence, use the speed of the ball, we're good at it, let the ball go on attack. Haven't seen it yet from them.
No,
it's been pretty
quite
static.
tentative, haven't they?
Yes.
So the 1 point ball game continues. Somebody needs to make a break. Who's it going to be?
Well, I think we'd all dearly love it to be the Pulse, except, of course, if you're a Cantabrian, but really only because they've played 19 games and have not had one win as yet. And
yes,
we'd love to see it happen, especially for for such a young, inexperienced side. It would be tremendous for them, for their confidence.
Yes, I must say, Julie and I have no ties to either team, but we are sort of wanting the underdog to come up a little bit.
Nice work, yes. Tibble, Amaru Tibble just waited and used her space well, used the footwork. She's been solid in there, hasn't she?
Yes, and Yvette McCausland-Drury obviously happy with that change because she's left it on for this crucial last quarter.
I really, and off the floorboards it doesn't come for the Tactix. Skids out the sideline, so here's a chance for the Pulse to finally pull in front. I'm not going to say it.
No. Good reading from McCloma. Just that ball was a little bit too loopy. Could have gone flatter and harder.
Miss McCloma just ran out of space, so the ball went out of court. Pulse got the throw in.
And beautiful pass from Jamila Gupwell. Looked over at Paula Griffin.
And for the first time in the match, they take the lead, the Pulse, 39-38.
And their centre pass off, I think, Julie.
And you see the smile on the face of Amaru Tibble, the young 20-year-old.
Yes, she's looking quite relaxed in this very tight and intense game. Well, good to see you having a smile.
I was very impressed with when I saw her come on in one of the other games in earlier rounds. And a soft
Bowden,
soft turnover. Yeah, good experience from Bowden there. Put the pressure on at the line.
I think she needs to thank her defenders for that because they took all of the attacking options away. Paula Griffin wasn't available, Jamila Gupwell wasn't available, and neither was Amaru Tibble. So
it's a bit of a mouthful at times, isn't it? Solid on the shot. Brown draws it even.
Centre contact.
Now they're using McCloma quite a lot, aren't they, the Tactix, now that she's moved out to the goal defence position to bring the ball through court.
She is a very good attacking player, McCloma. Nice and steady. Great target through court.
Nice little pass from Seymour, finds Thompson, who finishes it. She's really stepped up and gone to the post in this match, and I think would be happy with her performance this afternoon.
Yes, much improved. We just hope that it continues right until the dying minutes of the game.
Tibble will get another opportunity. She was contacted in the action and
very nice
work. Some pay.
Good work from Paula Griffin too, screening out Sonia McCloma. Good work from Hannah Bordelot there. She left her own player to cover the feeder outside the circle.
Lees finds Gupwell. Normally we see her in the goal attack position. She was brought out to wing attack in this match and has coped quite well, really.
Yes.
Not easy to do.
She just does a little bit of different movement. Oh no, and a contact on Paula Griffin.
I'm not sure where that came from, but it's a pretty important one. Although still 9.5 minutes in this match, so still plenty of time for the Pulse, but they're just the turnovers you can ill afford.
Yes, and neither team really dominating this game, so it's still anyone's.
With the experience this Tactix side has in its lineup, they really should be leading this Pulse side by 13 goals, I think,
exactly, exactly. And you would look on paper and say that.
Seymour. McCloma, again, being used on that transverse line. As you say, Kerry, a good target. Brown really having to stretch for that one, but finishes it beautifully.
Great long shot from Jodie Brown.
You'd have to say, Kerry, in a situation like this, in a tight match, you'd have to say that you would back the experience of the Tactix?
Yes, you would, but unfortunately the last 2 weeks the Tactix have dropped these close games, so as long as they hold their nerves, but as we say, they should be 13 plus goals up on the side. You've got the Silver Ferns centre, a Silver Ferns wing attack, an ex-Silver Ferns shooter who probably is still one of the best shooters in the country.
And McCloma.
And McCloma, an English international.
Exactly. And the thing is this Tactix side have really pushed some, you know, top-line teams right to the wire. So you'd have to say that the Pulse are playing jolly well.
Yes. Litchmark and Lee's doing a good job of keeping Seymour and Bowden off the circle edge.
Yes, they're certainly not allowing the speed through court.
And a great tip from Litchmark, but the loose picked up by Marie Bowden. They're really struggling to get this ball in, the Tactix. It's good to see the defence.
Baseline open, just left it fractionally open and through snuck Brown. The experience showing there.
Through that little gap, she snuck through, leaving the defenders to eat her dust, basically. Oh, you know, Marie Bowden, just take it sometimes.
Yes, yes, she does get a little bit theatrical at times. And again, valuable ball given away.
Just Paula Griffin doesn't have the agility to go for a pass that's not directed to her, but they come up with a ball that's a stepping call.
Lee's Seymour doing a good job closing down the drive from
feed from Amadou Tibbles into Griffin.
So back to within 2. Just need a break here.
Yes.
The Pulse. And they've certainly slowed the ball down again. Oh, Byfield had a look. Snuck back again. She's got to go for them because that'll be the difference in it.
I hope that she maintains the courage that she's had for the first 3 quarters and takes it through to the last quarter. It is her game. That is what she's great at doing. And the Tactix also doing a great job at slowing play down in their defensive end.
Yes, the body's just getting a little tired now, and the defence taking over.
That will help the Pulse, though. If your shooter turns around and bangs up a long shot like that, that always relieves the pressure.
And now we see Thompson just going off her shot there. Wouldn't put the long one up, and that's what I was saying earlier. Under the pressure situations, perhaps not that happy to go to the post. McCloma, brilliant in the air, playing in front of Griffin.
Good defence here from the Pulse.
Well, they'll get the pass in. We've seen this happen before. The Tactix pull ahead and back come the Pulse. They need to come back with vengeance. Oh, and again, air in the head.
Yeah, Krishna Litchmark didn't need to pass that. Jamila Gupwell had come up quite clear.
Plenty of options.
Easy option. And the big no-no, the big cross-court pass. Netball 101, Julie.
Oh, pretty unlucky there. But the umpire's call was that Byfield actually hit the shooting arm of Brown. That penalty count sort of closing up a little bit, but
that call from Bronwyn Meek just taking the advantage away from the Tactix. They had that centre pass, and she took it back for the wing attack from the Pulse breaking behind her. So,
well, Thompson not looking too happy. Of course, they've got Angela Mitchell sitting on the bench for the Tactix that can easily slot into the side in the goal attack position. Also, Ellen Harpenny, young under-21 player.
So let's just see what happened.
A clash with Broaderlow. Look at all that tape on those ankles. That's not necessarily an injury. It's normally done as a preventative method.
Is that a yeah, I'll be okay nod, Julie, do you think?
I think it is. I think it is. She's had a good game, Anna Thompson, today, I felt. I'd like to see her continue it through in this final quarter, though, under pressure. And just see her, finish and go to the post. Well, we haven't got much time left in this match now. They've managed to pull it back 2 or 3 times, the Pulse, Curry. What do you think now? Enough time?
Yeah, I think there is enough time. The Tactix last week were ahead of the Steel by 8, and granted the Steel and Pulse are different teams, but all of a sudden the Steel were back in the game after 2 minutes. So, you know, it's one of those games that it can easily turn around. Problem for this Pulse side is that they are getting the turnovers. The defence are picking up the ball. It's a matter of scoring it. And we have Angela Mitchell taking the court, ex-Silver Fern. So Anna Thompson off, so this could be the opportunity that the Pulse wanted. A player who's not warmed up, sat a bit of the game on the bench, could get into her head early.
So it wasn't a yes nod, it was a no nod.
Yes, I need to come off.
And Brown finishes nicely.
Now that was telling for me, Julie. Angela Mitchell gave up that penalty shot, so, you know, and it was a medium range, so it'll be interesting to see how this goes.
Well, it could be a little opening for the Pulse, couldn't it? They've got 3 minutes left in this match.
They just need to score their
goals. I beg your pardon, 4 goals. Just 4 goals. Manu's back on the court.
So Kushla Lichwak has taken the bench. Yvette McCausand-Jury using the stoppage from the Tactix to make some changes of her own.
Goal defence, other side. Yes.
Yes, I just feel we see her, the captain, Lichwak, of the Pulse, enforced rest.
Yes, I think so, and just a bit guilty of squandering a bit of possession, Kushla Lichwak.
Well, rotation just a wee bit slow to come, and the players playing in behind. Great defence from the Tactix.
Yeah, Camilla Lee's just waiting a little bit too long. It was quite clear those shooters weren't going to get there. She could have passed it back earlier. Give them time to set up. And she gets it back.
Yes.
So all is forgiven.
Bowden almost does it for the Tactix. 1 minute 35, 5 goals. It's a tall ask, I'm afraid.
Yes.
Nice space, beautiful hold, Amaru Tibble. She's come on strong for the Pulse. Smith calling time. Just getting a bit frenetic in there, isn't it?
Yes. She has to come off Victoria Smith because she's called this time. They've already had their 2 minutes, so she needs to come off.
So she will leave the court, and there's the...
Oh, big elbow to the nose. And Kahurangi Waititi gets a minute.
Yes, was a Pulse player last year, up against her old team. 4 goals. In the last minute of this match, it's looking very much like the Tactix, but again, another turnover.
Some sloppy footwork from Marie Bowden.
All too late, though, I feel, for this Pulse side. And they want it back to the centre pass quickly.
Yes, they can close it down to 2. 30 seconds to go.
Unfortunately, 2 is not a win, though. But
Paula
what a
Griffin,
valiant effort.
sitting on the baseline. Sonia McCloma telling Bronwyn Meek how to do her job.
Dying seconds of the match, and the shot won't go up. So just the 3 goals in it for the Tactix. They win the match 49-46 over the Pulse, but a valiant effort again from the Pulse. They went ahead in the 3rd quarter, the first time in the match to do so, but just couldn't hold the lead. And again, it's disappointment for the Pulse, but the Tactix finally get the win that they've been searching for.
Relief might be the word.
What you need, it clashes. See the world through tinted glasses. Star rock, you need some matches. Ready, steady, go my credits, good to ride on. Tonight our dreams are neon. Don't pull the plug on me, it's on and on and on.
Thanks to your support of Fisher & Paykel for the last 75 years, we have been able to pass that support on to netball.
We haven't had a win for a while. Might not have been perfect out there, but yeah, we're pleased to have the win.
Yeah, a win's a win, all right. Tell me, what was the difference in the end?
Yeah, I think when we really mattered, we were able to just put our foot down and get a couple of goals ahead. Gave us a little bit of leeway going into the last couple of minutes, but then again, you know, they're a good side and they come back at you, and I'm sure they're going to knock someone off soon, and we're glad it's not us.
How important in the overall scheme of things, because getting a win like that is just so good for restoring confidence.
Yeah, it is. I mean, it's hard, yeah, it happens to a lot of sports teams. You know, you have quite a few losses in a row and you're constantly analysing and working hard, but not getting the reward. So, yeah, it's just nice to get the reward today.
Our side puts out a proud performance each week, and I mean, you can't ask for anything more. There's a lot of guts and effort that goes out on the court, and we do keep getting better, and you know, it's going to come, and we need to keep working on the processes, because if we try and push too hard, it's going to go the other way, and we don't want it to do that.
You ended up playing catch-up for much of the match, but you were just so close. What do you think it was in the end that made the difference for the Tactix?
They're absolutely minute little things, and there's obviously so many factors that go into each pass and what people do, so it's really hard to pinpoint one exact thing. So it's a matter of, you know, making sure we keep going and keep doing what we need to do, and also step up and react to when the other team steps up as well.
I do have to get a quick comment about the performance of your young goal shoot, Te Amaru Tibble. She was just awesome.
Yeah, basically, obviously bringing Amor on, it brings a different style of goal shoot to our circle, and she's got some fantastic skills, great awareness of the circle, and she definitely showed them out there today, and good combination there with Paula.
Yes, those nitty little gritty things, but in the end it's cost the Pulse. The final score 49-46. Not a lot of difference there. Shooting stats, the Pulse were actually ahead of the Tactix, but again it was that turnover ball in the end that was their downfall. So the Pulse, another one, it's gone begging for them. Kerry, I guess when you look at it, experience at the end there from the Tactix, and that was really how it should have ended for them.
Yes, the Tactix are on paper a better team, but I felt that their patience on attack is what got them through in the end. The Pulse, just they need to work on their through-court attack. Everything else has been coming for them relatively. Their defenders are getting enough ball. They just need to be patient and bring that ball through. So, and I thought Milner Olsen could have come on and added a bit more pace in that goal third in the last quarter, because they got a bit stagnant.
Julie, Althea Byfield was outstanding for the Pulse today. I asked you at the start of the match how much of a difference she'd make. What did you make of her?
I thought she was brilliant. I thought she had an outstanding game, and to be honest, held the Pulse in the game, didn't she? Really. I think the thing for me is that she takes so many intercepts well up court. So she's not just... Quite often a goalkeeper will go for an intercept if the ball's coming from a long way away, from well down in the mid-third. But in this instance, or in the intercepts that she takes, the ball's quite close when she comes for that intercept ball. So it shows how just how quick off the mark she is, how dynamic her speed is. And we heard her in a wee interview say that, you know, her other sports were high jump and long jump, and you can see that, can't you?
Yes.
You know, like
maybe we should get the Kiwi teams doing that.
Twitch fibre. It's that high twitch fibre.
Absolutely. Well, we've got some very intriguing matches still to come in round 8. Tomorrow it's the Battle of the Birds in Adelaide. Then on Monday night, the Magic travel to Invercargill to face the Steel on their home turf. Always a tough task. Then the Swifts have the unenviable challenge of playing the Vixens at home in Melbourne. Now, Julie Coney, I know you're taking the Steel over the Magic. Why?
Well, I just feel that the Magic, as we talked before the show, that they haven't really hit their straps, and I think they're only at about 70 to 75%. And I just think the Steel, they have the personnel in there to do this, and they're at home in that cauldron down in Southland, so they'll have the crowd with them. And we've seen some outstanding performances, not every match, but some from Wilkins and Whippiiti. And I just think if the two of those can get it together on the day...
And Magic don't play particularly well down in Invercargill. We've looked at those stats. Let's flick Kiz to the Vixen Swifts. What do you think is going to happen then?
I'm hoping, because of my picks, that the Vixens are going to demo the Swifts, and I think it is. There's a little bit of unhappiness in the Swifts camp, I think. They're just not looking good, and Renee Hallinan and Sherelle McMahon are leading the way.
But we heard that, didn't we? You know, you talk about this in the camp, you know, things not happy. There was Catherine Cox coming out after that match last week against the Firebirds and saying Julie Fitzgerald made a tactical error in her game plan.
You wouldn't get a Kiwi doing that, would you?
You would not. No, you'd be too scared you'd be on the bench the next week.
OK, well, next week we have another exciting game for you. It's the Pulse versus the Steel in Wellington, so the Pulse will search for that win again. Plenty of sports still to come here on One this weekend. From midday tomorrow we have tennis from Wimbledon, 2:30 it's triathlon, and then at 3 o'clock it's Powerbolt Tools Motorsport. Well, the Pulse, they've come very close again, but not their night. We'll see you next week. Thanks for joining us.